What's going on, guys? I just wanted to share a sort of an insight or just a thought that I had today when I was sitting in the sauna. I was thinking about a friend of mine who is currently not in the best shape he's ever been in. He's been in great shape in the past, but he's always had this sort of in and out relationship with his health and with his physique, and he just, he'll suddenly put on a lot of weight, and then he'll lose all of it, and then he puts it back on, and then he loses all of it. And it's kind of like this exhausting cycle that I've seen him endure for many, many years now. And I just started asking questions about it, like, why is it that that happens? And what I've determined is that he catches in glimpses a vision of himself. And when he recognizes and he really sees into this vision of himself, of whom he knows he not only can be, but whom he knows he really is, that's his true self. He's inspired. He wants to work out harder than I do. He wants to be committed to a diet. But then something dark can happen in life, and maybe he's not spiritually strong enough to always handle it in a healthy and effective way. And it just kind of leads to this dark cloud building over him, and that cloud clouds his clarity and his vision, and he ends up going back to his awful habits. And then he goes through that whole cycle again and again and again. It's really just a microcosm for the wheel of samsara that all of us experience until we let it go. So I was sitting there in the sauna thinking about him. What can I do to help? Maybe what can I say to him, and how can I say that in a way that'll really get it across to him? And although I haven't figured out exactly what to say to him, one thing that did pop into my mind that I thought was interesting is, in the fitness world, we often say, you got to get in shape. And I thought about that phrase, and it just stuck in my mind. It was like, why is this staying in my mind? What is it here? What am I trying to figure out? And I took it kind of deep. We always say, stay in shape. When you think about reality, when you think about creation, everything you've ever seen, whether it's a building, whether it's a dumbbell, whether it's my son, whether it's a cheeseburger, whether it's a car, everything that comes into form starts as a thought. In the same way that these people, these characters whom you and I have become in this life and are continuously becoming, it all starts as a thought. When I believe I'm confident, my subconscious recognizes that, and I start making choices, whether or not I'm conscious of these choices or not, that aligns with a more confident character. When I think I am healthy, same thing. My subconscious starts guiding me in a way, whether or not I'm always conscious of it, that enables me to then make healthier choices. Well, that also applies to who you become, who you are. And so I was just thinking, when we say you got to get in shape, there's something to that. Get in shape, get in form, assume shape, assume form. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this. Think about the 300-pound morbidly obese man. Do you think he really knows who he is? I don't care how high his IQ is. I don't care how talented he might be, how intelligent he might be. He might be able to fool you that he knows who he is by using big words and making it seem like he has it all together. But he's 300 pounds and not in a healthy way. He's overweight. He's weighed down by his choices. We all know that as we start tapping into who we really are, we start recognizing when all the negative thoughts start falling away, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't have to engage this negativity in my mind ever. I can cultivate a beautiful, positive vision of myself and pursue that, and that's life, and that'll give me something to wake up and head towards every single day. That's awesome. Well, when you are obese, to me, it is a blatant sign that you are not tapped in that way yet. There's still a darkness in your mind that's causing you to make these poor choices, because when we're really in alignment with a vision, with who we want to become, we're really in touch with who we truly are, we inevitably make healthier choices. We start eating better, we start exercising, we start looking people in the eye, we start getting sun, we start caring about longevity and health. But as all of us do know, at some point we've experienced this in our lives, when you're not in touch with that vision of becoming, you make poor choices, because there's not that, the light is not in you. There's not that motivating energy towards goodness, and we just don't care. And when you don't care, you stop at McDonald's on your way home from work every single day. So I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, all right, there's something to positively expose here. There's a lot of people in the spiritual community who talk about sudden spiritual awakening. Alan Watts talked about it a lot. And a lot of people on this planet have experienced sudden spiritual awakening where, all of a sudden, whether they get hit with crazy trauma, a tragedy happens, and it sort of snaps them out of the delusions and just into the present moment completely. Like there's nothing to hide from anymore. That is realizing who you really are, where you detach from the mind completely, and then what remains, that's really you. But most people don't experience that. Most people don't experience a shift in consciousness suddenly. For most of us, it's a gradual process throughout several decades. I believe, as I've said earlier, when you are truly in touch with who you are and are aware of a beautiful vision of who you're becoming, we make healthier choices. When you experience that sudden awakening, you inevitably start making healthier choices because, again, you care about longevity. You are in touch with yourself. You're not running from yourself anymore. And the whole healthy human being cares about his longevity, cares about health. These things make obvious sense to an aligned individual. But most of us, like I said, are not going to experience a sudden awakening. What's going to happen instead is it's a gradual process throughout the course of our lives, where we start becoming more and more aware of who and what we truly are. So one way to truly ascend, and again, this word ascension, I want to be careful because it too can be another trap. You're not really going anywhere. When you are becoming who you are, it's a letting go of who you thought you were. You stop seeking yourself. When you seek yourself, you're also running from yourself. It's ultimately the same motion. But what you can do is you can utilize exercise. This is why I love the gym. You can utilize exercise to ascend, because if you sit down by yourself and you don't yet really know who you are, but you have a sort of a sense, and you're willing to dive into the gym and dive into a fitness program, well, your subconscious, as we talked about earlier, will start aligning you and the choices you make with that vision of becoming someone more handsome, more beautiful, stronger, fitter, lighter, whatever it may be. And as you align more and more with that vision, the subconscious aligns more and more with it too. And then again, you start making these awesome choices. So in a way, by really committing to a fitness journey, fitness is just another buzzword. It's committing to a journey of ascending into the real you. You inevitably start to ascend because your subconscious will start aligning with this higher version of who you are. Eventually you'll get to a point where you've shed the fat. The fat is a symbol for the fat in your mind. The fat is a symbol for separation between you, or the idea of you, and the real you. So why would we not use fitness as a tool and recognize it as a tool for something immensely positive and beautiful and real? And I believe that's why all of us on this little corner of the internet, maybe you don't see that as I do. I just kind of think that money Twitter is actually this like group of people who are we got a lot of work to do, collectively speaking, but just people who are more tapped in than the average person. And there's a reason why all of us seem to love exercise. Not everybody, but most of us have found something within our exercise journeys. And to me, it's something spiritual. It's deeper than the surface layer fitness, get jacked. Like that stuff's cool, but please know when I tweet like that, like get jacked, there's a much deeper meaning behind what I am saying. And I'm somebody who went from the fat kid, 310 pounds, couldn't look myself in the mirror, didn't know how to talk to a woman, had no sense of real self, to the jacked guy, to the fit guy, the one that everyone, I get respect when I walk in a room. People look me in the eye, and it feels good. It feels good to really be seen. Because when you see that other people are really seeing you, it implies to me that you've really seen yourself. So I hope that helps somebody. Let's get in shape. Because when we get in shape, we truly get in shape, who we really are starts to take shape. Who we really are starts to take form. And it is extremely worth it.